2, 1. All right, everybody. This is episode 1 of Feng's Caravan. I'm here in London with my very good friend, Arif. And Arif, what do you do?
Hey guys, how are you all? Cut that out.
Don't cut it out. Dude, what do you do? Just say it. What do you do?
No, I help young people to start their own businesses. So that's what I do on a day-to-day.
Okay. So look at him. He's a virtuous moral character. So he helps young people for work. All right, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do, really.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Do you like your job or you don't like your job?
I do like my job, yeah.
Why do you like your job?
I don't know. Just to getting into groove.
I mean, you were studying to be a lawyer before. What happened? Why did you quit?
Oh, man. It's a long story, you know. It's a very long story.
Just give me like a 2-sentence summary.
I would say lockdown. 2 words, not 2 sentences. 2 words. Lockdown.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, lockdown.
Why? Lockdown, I mean, if you're a lawyer during lockdown, I mean, you just stay home all day reading papers, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, but, you know, all the things that went by, I thought of myself like, you know.
Yeah.
This ain't it.
Right. It's like, I don't want to do this for my whole life. Like, what the heck, man? It's just like looking through documents all the time. Yeah, that's it, you know?
But funny thing is, during my uni years,
yeah,
I used to read a lot of books, law books.
What kind of books? Sorry?
Statutory books.
All right.
Criminal law books, contract.
Yep, very technical.
Too technical, but it's too dry.
Is it though?
Yeah.
I mean, if you say criminal, if you have case studies, are case studies interesting? Aren't case studies interesting?
There are some certain cases that's really interesting.
Yeah,
but I don't want to delve into that. It's a bit too graphic, I should say.
Okay, so if it's not a case study, then it's boring because you have to read a lot of, you know.
A lot of key statements made by judges.
Oh,
that's fucking
Did
boring.
you ever read something that was so ridiculous? You're like, no way, a judge said this. No way. Has a judge ever said something so ridiculous you just went, what the heck is this? No? Never read a case like that.
Oh, I have.
All right, give me. What
I
is it?
can't remember though. That's the thing.
Do you remember the outline of the case? Like, what happened?
Well, it's too graphic, I should say.
All right, give me the less graphic version. What's the less graphic? Just tone it down. You know? If someone killed someone, say, all right, someone was violently harmed or something.
Let's just say that someone was very, very happy on the day.
All right.
And doing something really unusual.
Okay. And?
But he got acquitted.
Oh, okay. He was very happy. He got acquitted. He did something terrible.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you can't tell me how terrible it was because it's so terrible.
Yeah, it's too graphic.
I
don't think the audience should listen to that.
I mean, we'll see what the audience says later.
Basically, he was jerking off. And the police caught him.
Okay. All right. So if you jerk off and the police catches you, what is that? Is that criminal or not? What is that?
Well, the thing is, the police officer was a undercover police officer.
Oh, okay.
And he was sent there to investigate
people jerking off. Okay. And?
It's a case of Cheeseman. That's what it was.
A case of what?
Cheeseman. That's what it was.
Right. Okay.
The case was called Cheeseman.
Okay. All right. That's pretty funny. All right. So how did you catch him? Was it in the case document?
No. It was in the... So one day he was in the gents' toilet.
Right.
Jerking off. The police were sent over there as an undercover to investigate as to what's happening. Right. Something like that, really.
Right, okay, gotcha. That's unfortunate. I mean, if you're going to jerk off, being in the toilet's not a bad place to be, I got to be honest. I mean, I feel like that's not a big crime, if it is a crime. To be honest with you, if you're in a cubicle, right, in the toilet, and there's a door between you and everyone else, well, I mean, whatever you do inside is none of my business.
I don't know, things to do with public exposure.
Right, okay.
I think which deemed illegal.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, I can imagine the scene, so you know what? It's okay. We can leave it at that. All right. So he got acquitted, though. There you go. So maybe I was right.
The reason why he was acquitted because the police was an undercover.
So why is that a problem if he's undercover?
I forgot the term.
You have to sort of tell people you're police and then, you know, do that, or else you don't have the authority. You're not doing it right, basically. You're not doing by the books.
Basically laying the traps.
Oh, you can't do that. Oh, yeah, you're right. There's a word for it. Entrapment.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. Entrapment. I've been watching crime documentaries. That's why.
You see what I mean? I didn't go into law. I mean, I don't know very, very much about, you know, the legal
Do you know
stuff
why
anyway.
I know about entrapment?
No.
There was a case where a woman, she hired a hitman to kill her husband. And it wasn't entrapment because they would actively avoiding that. So it's like, all right, we can't do this because it'll be entrapment. We have to do it differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go into it, but it's pretty funny, basically. Like, she acted like, oh my God, my husband's dead and all that. And it's like, your husband's fine, mate. Police officers, yeah, it's very sad. All right, go to the police station. We'll help you out. They got her statements, right? And obviously it contradicted all the evidence. So she got tried. And she got tried and she got found guilty and she had to do jail time. You know? Few years, maybe 2 years, right? Trying to kill her husband. It's pretty sad, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, the police, I mean, it was really interesting. What they did was that they told the husband that your wife is trying to kill you because they caught her. And they told the husband and said, right, in order for us to get her on criminal charges, right, we need to fake your death. Right, and the husband agreed to it. So they took him to this field, this desert area, right? Dug a hole, put makeup on him, blood and everything, right? Put his body in there and took pictures.
What happened next?
They took the pictures, they sent it to the wife using the fake hitman. So the hitman was undercover cop, right? Okay. So he sent it to the wife and the wife said, good job, amazing job. They got her on camera, on microphone, just like ecstatic. Right? They got all the evidence they need. And then when the wife got home, when the wife was away from home, they called the wife and said, your husband is in critical danger.
Where did this happen? Was it here?
In America. It was in the US. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in the UK, to be honest. I mean, crazier stuff has happened here, I think. I mean, I wouldn't comment on that one. All right. You're the expert, so I'm not going to get into it. I mean, you've been living in London for a long time now, haven't you?
Yeah, all my life, really.
How many years is that? I mean, you don't have to say if you don't want to.
Born and bred, I think, since 1994.
Right. If that's the case, would you consider yourself English then?
Oh, that's a good.
London. It's
I wouldn't consider myself English. I would consider myself as British.
British. Oh.
Yeah.
What's the difference between British and English then? What's the main difference?
Well, British includes the Scots, the Welsh.
Yes. So are you Welsh?
No.
No. Are you Scottish?
No.
Are you Irish?
No.
So you must be English, haven't you?
I think we use this term British. It's very common with the descendants of the Commonwealth nations like India.
Right. So inclusive. Right?
Yeah.
It's inclusive.
Yeah, it's very inclusive.
Right.
Whereas if you call yourself English, it's like
So what is the difference between an Englishman and someone who's British? What's the main difference, would you say, that you can think of?
I think with an Englishman, I think you have to categorize yourself as Anglo-Saxon.
Right.
Yeah.
White.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
That's what I've led to believe. But I don't know if that's true.
All right, let me ask you this question then. Rishi Sunak, is he English or is he British?
He's British.
He's very English, isn't he?
He sounds very English.
I mean, he grew up around that area, so...
No, actually, he's from Southampton, I think.
Isn't that English? That's pretty English.
Yeah, but it's not as in posh English, as he make out to be.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He's one of those ones. He's trying to be one.
Okay.
Trying to fit in, integrate. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that video of him, where he's like a university student and they're interviewing him.
Really? Oh yeah, I've seen that video.
You've seen it? Yeah. They ask him like, "What do you do for the summer?" And he says, I go, impoverish kids and tell them about all the things posh people do, and
absolute cunt. That's what he is.
Are you ready to say that on the record?
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, you can. You can say anything, man. This is a free country.
Yeah.
This isn't North Korea. You're not going to get shot tomorrow.
Who knows? The way we're going at the moment. No comment there. No comment for now.
I mean, do you think... I mean, it was pretty crazy a few years back, wasn't it? Like, people were getting caught just for saying stuff on the internet. They were being apprehended by the police a few years back.
It depends, though. It depends on the context. It's all about the context, I should say.
The context. So what context would be... Like, if you say something on the internet, let's say, and it's not a threat, right? It's not, I'm going to kill someone. I'm going to bomb the school, right? It's not something overt. Like, what would not be allowed?
Like, if you look at the history of this country, when it comes to racism, a lot of racism has been directed towards mostly African, Caribbean, and also South Asian communities.
Right, yeah.
For a long time, since, I don't know, in the 60s, 70s, the 80s.
Ever since they started coming in, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So
that was at the end of the British Empire, so that's why you get all these people coming, would you say?
And it's totally understandable. And I agree as well. Like, if you say something that's way out of,
Right. So
way out of your of the boundaries.
Makes sense. Yeah, I would agree. Here's the difference, right? What if it's a person from that group who's making a joke? That might be slightly stereotypical. It's like, that's very stereotypical, but people find it funny. Would they be liable for that? Do you think they should be liable for that? Whether or not, that's
the people from within the same community.
Yeah, like you're Indian, you made like an Indian joke, like a very Indian joke.
That's another unwritten rule, you see. I tend to see that a lot.
All right, so in terms of London, right? You said you grew up in South London.
No, North London.
So you were never living in South London.
Never, no. What made you think I live in South London?
You seem to talk about it a lot because it's a terrible area. It used to be terrible, now it's better, and all that. Seems like you're quite knowledgeable.
No. So my family came from South London.
Yeah. So when you say my family, I just assumed you included.
No, I'm talking about the parents and the grandparents.
So before your time, right?
So they lived I think they lived in Vauxhall, and Brixton as well.
Yeah.
And then they moved to North London in the 90s.
Right,
and
okay.
That's how I came about.
So you were born after the... what would you call it? You were born after the apocalypse, or, the terrible times. Would you say that?
I would say I was born in the... during the times of, hardship, I'd say.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, all right. I mean, when I look at British history, right, I'm not that familiar with it, but I've been recently getting into it. I think, like, some key points in time would be after the World War. It'd be in the 1970s, right? During the protests and the miners' strikes and all that. Or maybe even early 80s, and then that's Thatcher coming in and like sort of squeezing everyone, I guess. Because a lot of people have very interesting memories of that time. But you were born after that, weren't you? You were born in the 90s, right?
Yeah, I was born in 1994.
So 1990...
Just before Labour got into power.
Right.
So in a way, I've escaped all that crap.
I thought you said you were born at a terrible time. What happened?
I'll say when I say terrible time,
right?
I'll say because obviously, what you see in London wasn't how it was back then.
Right.
It was pretty rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of gang violence.
So were there more gang violence in the 90s compared to the 80s, would you say?
I don't know about the 80s, but late 90s, early 2000s.
It was crazy, basically. You had some crazy stuff going on.
Like postcode wars.
What is that? Postcode wars. What is it?
Like, like every borough has their own postcodes.
Yes.
And obviously these young lads had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
But they went forming their own groups.
Oh, a gang.
Yeah, a gang.
And the postcode is the denominator.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fucking crazy. What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
So all right. So I'll give you this scenario, right? You're at school. Yeah. You're living in this area. This is your postcode.
Yeah.
And a new guy comes in.
Absolutely.
First question you ask them is not what's your name. It's like, what's your postcode? It's like, not this guy, man. He's out of here. He's on the rival gang. We're not accepting this guy. And the next day we're gonna stab each other.
I wouldn't say the trouble.
Yeah. What do you mean the trouble?
I want to say the trouble came from schools. It's more like I don't know how to say this really.
What do you mean? I don't know how to say this. So where did the trouble come from, if not from schools? So like the fights weren't happening in school, but the boys were going to school, right? They were going to high school, middle school, and all that. So where did all this animosity come from? Like, what was the cause, do you think?
I think it's the lack of social mobility, really.
Right, they were just pissed off.
Yeah.
Right.
And nothing better to do. And obviously, they just formed their own groups.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, don't know how to say this, but
here's the interesting bit. How many of those people actually became... survived, and now they're adults, right, in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah, I mean, I think about that.
If you think about that, it's like, wait a minute, those boys used to stab each other. Yeah. Gangsters. Now they're just normal working people, I guess.
But you know how it was, like walking down the streets, like you couldn't walk.
Yeah, I know the stories. I've read like a story in Soho.
Yeah.
Of this all-out gang fight happening in this Chinese restaurant. It was crazy. It was just Chinese gangs, and all happened was basically like one of the bosses he felt disrespected because another boss didn't talk to him when he entered the restaurant. He didn't. All he didn't do was that he didn't walk up to him and say, "Hey, I respect you, and nice seeing you." And then they just ended up fighting, and just a bunch of people died. So
yeah, it's one of those things, It's all about backbiting. Someone said this or someone said that. Someone insulted their girlfriends.
Girlfriends, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and it was pretty rough back then.
Right. Okay.
Especially in the areas of Hackney.
Hackney.
Yeah, Hackney. Where else? Tottenham. Even Brixton
yeah.
as well.
I mean, some of that reputation is still here, isn't it?
No, it's gone now. I think. Hopefully, it's gone.
I mean, when I speak to people, it's still there. I think. Like, it depends on who you're speaking to. Like a lot of people, don't go to that area. That's like bad area. But if you go there, it's quite nice. If you go to Tottenham, like they have new buildings, they have residential areas, right? People jog there. There's gyms everywhere. It's not bad. Now,
I mean, I can't say.
By the way, Tottenham, it's in North London, right?
Yeah.
So even Tottenham back then was bad, although it was north. Yeah. So it tells you like how bad it was, because like even if you're in the north, it doesn't make a difference. You still got violence, right? Yeah. Okay.
And it's one of those things, really. You have to endure.
Right. Okay. Up. So let's continue then. So you have that terrible time. Labour came in, right? They sort of fixed everything, right? In a decade or something, right?
It took time though. It took a decade.
All right. So in your lifetime, when did it get good? Would you think
post 2010? By the time we had the Olympics in 2012, things were getting better.
Right. But the investment that was around Waterloo, wasn't it? It wasn't around. Oh, not Waterloo. It was Stratford.
Stratford.
Yeah, Stratford. Stratford's a really good area. I need to go there more because I live so far away. I don't really go there that often. But they've got very interesting architecture, right? They've got that huge stadium. They've got shopping malls, Westfield, right? So I haven't been to Westfield, surprisingly.
Have you been to what's it called? There's a huge co-working space over there. I think all the tech companies do.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it when the train passes, but I haven't been in.
It's really nice. I've been there.
All right. There's a lot of people there. Is it like a lot of people? Or
a lot of freelancers and entrepreneurs over there.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, even my company now, they've got a lot of freelancers working as contractors, so that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So it was starting to get good after the Olympics. Yeah. So, like, what was the thing that you noticed? It's like, it's better now.
I don't know if I should say this, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Just say it.
Gentrification.
Oh, right. That helped.
Business, like new
business coming in, investment, new architecture, new buildings getting built.
Absolutely. And new professionals coming in.
Right. I mean, these professionals predominantly they would be coming in from Europe, I guess. Europe and US and even Asia, South Asia. Yeah. Get a mix, right? I mean, we know a couple of friends, don't we, that have family from outside of Britain, right? From Nigeria, from South Africa.
Ghana.
Yeah.
You also have people from Malaysia as well.
Yeah, so this is the time they're starting to come in and build stuff up. Because, like, these people, when they come in, they're not your usual stereotypical immigrants. They're, like, trained. They're educated.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is an eye-opener because, obviously, we have immigrants here living in London.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I come from an immigrant background.
Yeah. So your mom and dad, they're first generation, right? Immigrants?
Yeah.
All right.
First generation.
So they were born outside of Britain and then they moved here.
But my grandparents came here.
Oh, your grandparents came here?
Yeah.
So when your grandparents came here, did they have your parents here or back in the old country?
They had kids back in the old country and they brought them here as well.
Right. It's interesting. Would you consider... All right, then I think your parents is first generation then. Yeah, because they were brought in.
Yeah.
Along with your grandparents. Yeah, because they moved here. Right.
So I'd be second generation?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I'm also second. No, I'm not. I'm third generation. Because my mom and dad, they were both born in Malaysia. Yeah. So my grandfather was born in China. And then he moved with his family to Malaysia and then had my dad. Although on my mom's side, I'm not too sure. I need to ask them. I think they were all Malaysian from the start. So again, this gets complicated. And my first, second, I don't know. Depends if it's going from mom or dad.
Do you consider yourself Chinese or Malaysian?
I would say both. Yeah, I would say...
Yeah, pick one. You have to pick one.
I have to pick one?
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm not going to say. That's not fair. That's not a fair question. We live in a globalized world now. That's not a fair question. You can't say that. That's not fair. It's like asking an American, you have to pick one, American or Irish. It's like, why? Why do I have to pick one? Or asking an American Jewish person, you either can be Jewish or American. Pick one. It's like, why? I swear, if you ask an Italian that, they will punch you in the face.
Will they?
Probably. I mean...
They call themselves, what, Italian-American?
Yeah, but if you force them to choose, they'd be pretty mad. It's like, why do I have to choose? Because their identity is pretty strong, man. Like, Italians care a lot about their heritage. You know, the food, the language, the gang movies, Goodfellas, right? Godfather. They've got a whole history. They've got a whole story. They don't want to lose it, right? So, like, imagine you're Italian American, right? When you first got to America, you were prejudiced against. Right? Yeah. People were prejudiced against you. They hated you, right? You can't get a job, right? You can't speak English, right? So it's the same story. So the question is like, now Italians are part of American culture, aren't they? Like you wouldn't even disassociate it. It's obviously they're American, right? So the question is like, how does that happen in the UK? How do people from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India become part of Britain? You know, the story.
Is that a question?
Yes, that is a question. How does that happen?
It takes time. Yeah. It takes time.
Right. I guess the question is like, do you think it's happened? Or it hasn't happened yet?
It's happened.
It's already happened. I mean, when you have a prime minister who's not Anglo-Saxon, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good indicator, right? I would say that's a pretty good indicator that it's happened. You know, it's socially acceptable now. You're part of the family.
But
part of it anyway.
Like I said, it takes time. It takes time. Obviously, took awful lot of time actually. At least good 30 or 40 years. 40 years to get where we are now. But it's really unfortunate that we have a prime minister. That's not.
I mean, that's what everyone says.
That's not what I pictured.
It's like he is, but you know, it is what it is. You know, it's okay. I mean, that's the thing, right? Do you think there's such a thing as a perfect prime minister?
Oh, we had one.
Who?
Well, people are going to hate me for saying this.
Who?
Tony Blair. He is a war criminal.
The first comment's going to be Iraq. He's like, what about Iraq, man?
He is a war criminal for that. He's an idiot for doing that. Like,
he's a war criminal. He's an idiot, but he's the best prime minister we've ever had.
He's an idiot for following the other guy on the other side of the world.
Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough.
If he hadn't, then he would have been the
But here's the thing, right? The part of the reason why Tony Blair was a good prime minister was his ability to negotiate and work with people that he didn't agree with, right? So you might argue that personally he didn't agree with everything they were doing, but because he wanted to work with them, you have to negotiate. You have to sort of draw the line, right? Not draw the line, but balance, right? So, you know, one of the key strengths for Tony Blair was that I think, I haven't read deep into his story, but wasn't he able to work with the opposition, right? The conservative government to like pass laws and stuff. So that was part of the reason why he was so effective, you know, and actually getting things done rather than just fighting for fighting's sake. Like we're just fighting and nothing's getting done.
I would say more like the internal side of things in terms of his political party.
Right.
There was two factions, the hard left and you got the centre.
He's part of the centre, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was part of the centre.
So he's more conservative.
Yeah. And his dad was conservative as well.
Makes sense. But he's Labour, so, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So he's the best one, right? He's the best one. Huh?
Let me retract that. He's not the best one.
He's not the best one. Who is then? Huh? Don't you say...
He is the best. Well, I wouldn't say best. I would say he was an effective leader in his time.
He's a good one. There you go.
He was a good one, but he was an idiot for following someone else's order. He was essentially a people pleaser.
Right. I mean, that's how you get votes. So, hey, it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
But not... Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting, all right? I mean, British prime ministers, I have to be honest, compared to Malaysian prime ministers, you guys have it pretty good. I have to be honest. of course, you guys have a longer history of governments, but Malaysian prime ministers are notoriously, corrupt, just lying, or not lying. I wouldn't even say they're liars. I would say corrupt is the biggest thing. That's the worst thing, right? And it's been a long line of that, of just terrible corruption going on from the top. Authoritarian is the other one. I really hate it when Malaysian prime ministers pass laws that take away rights, and they do that very often. Yeah. And throughout the history of Malaysia, that happens. Like every single prime minister does that, basically. They just take away a little bit of your rights. A little bit. Right? And then you end up not having anything. You can't even protest against anything anymore. And, luckily, recently, we got our rights back, some of it. So it's getting better. But I would say Britain, with all its flaws, with all the flaws, you guys have had better prime ministers.
You reckon?
100%. I would say so. Yes.
No, I don't think so, no.
Well, we can disagree on that. That's fine. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right.
I would say the best prime minister we never had.
Uh-huh. So he lost, but he should have been prime minister.
Yeah.
Who is it?
You know who that is. Jeremy Corbyn.
The hard left. He's part of the hard left, wasn't he?
It doesn't matter if he's a hard left or not, but he was caring. He was caring for the people.
All right. So what do you say
for the vulnerables?
Right, for the underclass, right, for the downtrodden, for the lowest ranked in society.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's something interesting.
And not just that, students, young people.
Right. He was fully in support of that, fully against, I want to say old people, but people in power, people who are entrenched in the establishment.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's obvious why he didn't become prime minister, isn't it? It's obvious why he didn't become prime minister then. Because you're literally fighting against your own party and the opposition at the same time.
Which was really unfortunate. But if he had a backbone to fight back,
right,
then he would have established his dominion.
Okay, look, so this is an interesting point, right? You said something interesting there.
Yeah.
If that's the case, for a good prime minister, what do you think is the most important trait? For a good prime minister, what do you need above all else? So you mentioned something about caring for the people.
This is me talking as a...
yeah.
This is me talking as a... how do I say this? In a balanced view.
Right. This is not your strong opinion. This is just right, this is objective opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
So a good leader, a good prime minister...
yeah,
should always have a balanced view. But... he or she should always cater to the needs of the people,
right,
who are in need of shelter.
Right. Okay.
In need of
help,
employment.
Mm.
In need of healthcare.
Right. So
in a sense, center left, I'd say.
Right. So I guess balanced as in they don't give up on the economy, they don't shut down businesses and all that, but every decision they make, they will think about the consequences for people not in power or underprivileged people.
Exactly.
Right? Even if you're making a decision that's gonna...
Absolutely.
That's affects business people, let's say, or landowners, right? You think, all right, how is this gonna affect people who rent?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So that's the most important trait. Okay. Someone who's considerate, right? Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Hey, there you go. Would you say Rishi Sunak is considerate?
No, he's not.
Get on the boats, man. Get on the boats.
He's not. I mean, there's something weird about, not weird, and this is really common as well.
Yeah.
And you can differentiate between a South Asian family with a traditional background.
Mm-hmm.
And an individual who's from a South Asian, who has a South Asian background.
Yeah.
But tend to act more, let's just say, I don't know.
Well, he comes from a South Asian background, right? His family, right? But he grew up in Britain.
Yeah. So he tends to act more liberal and more
Obviously, yes. He absorbs the culture, right? The viewpoints, the opinions.
But here's the thing.
The ideology.
They don't, well, I don't know who Rishi Sunak is as a person, but what I've understood is that there are like certain types of South Asian who tend to act too...
Privileged?
I won't say privileged, no. More, let's just say English.
Posh is the word you're looking for.
Not posh.
No,
English,
not posh.
just English.
No? English.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. The opinions and the way they behave.
Yeah.
And the things they say.
Yeah.
Right.
They're trying to act. Well, they're trying to assimilate.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes, but that's obvious, right? Like if you're born in a family, that's not part of the monoculture, and you're the odd one out, right, in the group, you want to assimilate because you. That's
completely understandable. Yeah. I mean, I have that trait as well. We all have that. Every British South Asian have that.
But when does it become a problem? That's the question.
Is when you forget your own hardship, you forget your own background,
or maybe your family.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe he didn't go through any hardship, but his family did, or his people.
Absolutely,
his community.
Absolutely.
Right. So if he had the same policy now, when his family was trying to immigrate here,
exactly,
it probably wouldn't be a fun time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay,
it's a confusing time. I know people from the right will say, "Oh, this is racist. This is racism against your own people," or
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have noticed that, by the way. Just heads up.
Yeah.
Last time I was coming into London from Heathrow, it was very, very strict. Like, you have people walking in, getting checked by the officers and all that. It was way stricter than last time. Like, the last few times I flew in. Like, you have people... Oh, it was quite sad, actually. Like, you have a few people, maybe students coming in, they have their papers with them, and they were being questioned by the officers.
Which is ridiculous.
The immigration officers, right? And they're trying to explain their students and all that. They're just asking them really strict questions about, all right, what are you studying? Give me a module. Like, what are you studying in the module? Just like very specific questions.
Even if they had the right documentation.
Yeah, even if they had the right documentation, they were still being questioned. And some of them, they could speak English, but they weren't fluent with it, right? With English. So there was a lot of issues. So there was a guy being questioned. I think he was a student. He had his documents, right? He had the letter and all that. But he just couldn't get through. He was just there for like 20 minutes. Just officers just like... And I can see the officer getting more and more annoyed.
Why?
He was just annoyed. He was just like asking him the same questions. The guy couldn't answer, so he just kept asking and asking. His voice got louder and louder and louder. It was escalating.
What is this? And then it sounds like an interrogation or something.
It was an interrogation.
Fuck?
And it was an officer like in full gear. Yeah. With like a bullet vest on, Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, this is what I mean. Like when you have a government like this,
right,
who are imposing like harsh rules,
right, yeah,
and people coming into the country is like we're not being very open.
Alternatively,
we're not being welcoming or humble.
Yes, but alternatively, I would say that there has been an improvement in efficiency. So me this time coming to London was faster because there were more immigration officers, so more people were getting checked through. So last time when I came in, I had to wait almost 2 hours to get through. This time, 30 minutes. Because there was just more officers there to check your documents. So there is a caveat. So people who had the right documents, right? You had the BRP, you're a British national, you had the right passport, you're from Europe, you just go through. It's fine.
So basically you came into this country 5 minutes faster than before.
1 hour, actually.
Okay, 1 hour.
1 hour.
Let's just say 5 minutes.
5 minutes? That's a big difference. What's the 60 and 5 minutes? I'm just trying to take a balanced view, okay? I'm just trying to be balanced here, right? It's terrible for those people. I felt bad for them, but I couldn't help them because, I don't have that authority. We need a Karen in there shouting at the officers. Like, you can't treat people like that.
Yeah, I would have had a go at them. Like, who do you think you are? Like,
yeah. It was pretty wild, yeah. I mean, again, I hope people don't get mistreated. That's it, right? That's what you want.
Tell that to that our very first Asian Prime Minister.
Maybe they need an officer.
What? An Asian officer?
Like not officer, minister.
A minister? A minister for what?
We can have a minister for anything, can't you? Can have a minister for peanut butter if you wanted to. Managing the peanut butter trade in the UK.
Yeah.
We need a peanut butter surplus. No, like a minister for friendly immigration, let's say. So if anyone's trying to get in or get out, you want them to feel safe, right, and taken care of rather than being interrogated, maybe. I don't know. There's a balance there, obviously. I've met immigration officers who are very friendly and others who are, a little bit more strict. So it really depends. If they're having a good day, maybe they had a fight with their girlfriend. That's quite common, by the way. People just having a bad day and just mistreat people because they're not feeling good. Yeah, what do you think about that? Like, that's a mental health thing, isn't it? Like, sometimes when people behave badly, it's not because they're bad people, it's because they're having a bad day. Whereas on any other day, they would be very courteous and very kind, but it's just that day they had a bad day, so they're, speaking loudly, they're talking down to people.
But why, though? Why?
Because they're having a bad day. They're just not managing their emotions.
But why are they having a bad day?
It could be anything, It could be they're not feeling well, they had an argument, they got fined, right? They got a large tax bill, right?
Yeah, I would say, like, take a breeze. Go for a walk.
Yeah, and then your boss looks at you. No, stay in your zone. Get in the cubicle. Stare at the computer for the next 2 hours. You're not going anywhere. Okay. All right. That's part of the story, right? Like being in London, right? Your family coming here, you growing up here, you seeing the journey, you seeing the improvements being made, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's one thing I don't get. I don't know if you agree with this statement, all right? I'll ask you. So on the news right now, it's very, very trendy to say this. The UK is facing the largest drop in... what did they say? The largest drop in living standards in our history. Would you agree with that statement?
Well,
in the history of the UK, we're facing the largest drop in living standards. And this is coming from Parliament, by the way. This is what ministers are saying. Usually from the opposition.
I would say yes.
Really? You would say yes?
Do you know why?
Why?
Have you seen the prices of ketchups?
Sorry, what was that?
Prices of ketchups?
Prices of ketchups is the cause for the largest drop in living standards.
Can you see the difference there? The prices have gone up significantly.
I can, but I also understand that that's
how much was a ketchup 4 or 5 years?
The cheapest you can get, or what? Or Heinz, or what?
Heinz.
3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
£2-3.
Was it £2?
Yeah, 2-3.
I think it was £2. I think it was £2, wasn't it?
Around that area, yeah.
How much is it now?
Now it should be 4 on average.
Well, there you go. It just tells you.
But isn't that just normal inflation?
Yeah, but isn't that related to cost of living though? I don't know.
No, living standards, not cost.
Yeah, I'm not really good at economics. Well, I did A-level economics, but...
Okay, so not counting economics, just as a feeling, do you feel like your living standards have dropped? For the past, 2-3 years or 5 years even? Has it dropped? Like, you could do it 4 years ago, now you can't. You could afford to go out to eat X amount of times, now you can't, or something like that, right?
I would say the opposite for me, personally.
Oh, see? There you go. So personally for you, you've had an increase in living standards, right?
Yeah.
Part of that has to do with you getting to work, right? Getting ahead in your career.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's fine. So where is this stat coming from, the biggest drop? I mean, that's the thing. They argue that it's because of the lower rung of society, right? Poor people, disabled people, people that need benefits, right? Like those guys are having a hard time, right? I guess the question is that true? Like, is it really worse now than it was 10, 20 years ago?
It must have been. It must be, yeah, I'm sure. Because obviously, before I worked, I was unemployed. Mm-hmm. So I did feel the effects of it.
Right, you did feel the effects.
Yeah, but once you're employed,
right,
get a good salary.
Okay. Then you feel fine.
Yeah.
Like, you've got income now, so you can afford things.
But here's the thing, though, with the South Asians, especially like myself,
right,
we tend not to move out. Live independently.
I mean, that's normal. You're saving money.
Exactly.
To be honest, if I'm living in Malaysia, I'd still be living with my family.
So you got food on the table.
Yeah, I don't expect anything.
You got heat.
That's normal. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to move out. Like, if the best thing, not the best thing, but the most you can do is sort of pay your parents. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe give them an allowance or something. That's it. Right.
So going back to the question about cost of living crisis, I don't think I can answer that as of right now.
Right. From your position, it's, I would say, like, compared to other types of people, other groups, you're more privileged. I would say I'm privileged.
Absolutely. But I will take into the accounts of what other people are experiencing.
Right. You need to talk to more people then, right? Yeah. I mean, if we went to, like, let's say, a community center or food bank, then you'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And say, oh, these people are not having a good time, right? Yeah, I think you're right. I think we can't really gauge that. I would say I'm a bit skeptical on that statement. The largest drop in living standards. I would be very skeptical on that.
It could be, you know.
It could be, but it'd be.
I think it is.
You need like a really big drop for that to happen, I think. I feel like people sort of have a imagined past. They feel like, oh, it was better 40 years ago or something. But usually that's not the case. Why do you say that though?
Why?
Because now we have technology and we have things that we take for granted. Right? Like maybe you say, oh, Britain was way better 70 years ago or even 50 years ago, 30 years ago, right? But then you just told me how bad it was with the gangs, so obviously that's not the case. But people misremember the good old days, you know, that sort of thing. It's like, oh, it was so good, Britain was so powerful. Yeah, but most of the English were not literate. Yeah, you were powerful. Yeah, you had the guns. Yeah, you ruled half the world, but most of you weren't even literate. See? Right? When you take that into account, it's like, oh, not really. Maybe it wasn't such a beautiful, perfect environment after all. You know? It's hard to do, by the way, dropping that much. It's not easy. Yeah. I mean, imagine you don't have internet. You don't have computers. You don't have phones. You can't have delivery. Right? If you want to eat out, you have to be upper class, right? Upper middle class at least, right? Right? Whereas now, I would argue most people can eat out, right? There's a restaurant for you if you want to get cheap takeout, right? Like the amount of restaurants that's opened up, I would argue would be more now than ever, wouldn't it? Right? Compared to the 90s, let's say. More businesses, just more. Because I see that happening, right? People are still coming to London, still setting up new restaurants. Right, that's happening on a daily basis.
But think about the places outside of London.
Yeah,
you see like shops closing down. You know, town centers closing down as well.
Depends on where. Because like I'll give you this example: Colchester, Colchester in Essex, right? Yeah, they close down, but then new businesses come in. That's the thing. Like it's like a cycle. Businesses go out, and then new people come in. You know, they open new restaurants, new shops.
All right, let's talk about Liverpool then.
Right, sure.
I don't really know much about Liverpool.
I don't either. I've never been there. Heads up. I've never been to Liverpool. All right, what about Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, based on the reports,
is it bad?
Yeah, they were affected by the cost of living crisis.
Right. Okay, so in terms of Liverpool, previously they were. I mean, the thing I know from Liverpool is music. Obviously, right? You have.
I think it's Manchester, isn't it?
Oh, it's both. It's Liverpool and Manchester. Yeah, it's both. I think the Beatles are from Liverpool.
Are they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure about that, yeah. You can look that up, but I'm pretty sure they were from Liverpool and a bunch of other bands. I think Oasis is also from Liverpool. Do you know Oasis?
Yeah, but no, I think they're from Manchester. Yeah.
I need to check that. I don't know about that, but the Beatles, I'm pretty sure was from Liverpool.
That's Manchester.
Right.
Oasis, sorry.
All right. I mean, we can check that later. We'll get back to you on episode 2. Did Oasis come from Liverpool or Manchester? We'll check it. All right. If you want to know that, listeners, you can go check episode 2. All right. And we'll tell you. Okay. Fair enough. All right. I'm gonna sort of do a change of topic here because there's something I want to talk about. Maybe it relates to London. Maybe it doesn't. We'll have a gander at it. All right, so recently I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, right? A lot of people talking about certain topics. And one thing I find very fascinating is the idea of being authentic. Right? You have TikTok videos and all those Instagram stories like you have to be your authentic self.
That's what
right?
they say.
Be the real you. That's
right? What they say.
That's what they say, yeah. So my question is, right? All right, this is my question. How do you balance between authenticity, honesty, privacy, and respect? Because these all mean different things. It might be a little bit heavy, this one. So we'll take on authentic first. Authenticity, right?
Yeah.
So I would argue that if you want to be authentic, that means that whatever you're expressing is how you really feel. Would you agree with that?
But in what circumstances, though?
In every circumstance.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that, right? It's like, who's going to do that? Right? Or another definition is that your behavior, right, the way you treat people or the way you express yourself is how you really feel, along with all the flaws and the advantages that you have, right? So you don't shy away from telling people your mistakes, let's say. It would be a good example, wouldn't it? That would be authentic. It's like, hey guys, last week I messed up and I did this, and it was bad.
What, in a workplace or
anywhere? Like,
anywhere?
I'll give you this example. Maybe I work at a restaurant and I made a mistake and I messed up someone's order, and because I'm authentic, I can tell people that. I don't try to hide away from that. It's it was a great day at the restaurant last week. It was amazing. I had no problems at work. Now that's being inauthentic. Would you say that's correct or no?
I guess. Say for example in a work setting, in a work environment.
Yes.
If you did make a mistake.
Yes.
A really big one.
Big one. Yeah.
That you fucked up.
Yeah, you messed up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you messed up big time.
Yep.
It's about how you go about it, and not just say it bluntly that you've committed a mistake. That's the crucial part.
So how would you tell people that you've fucked up?
I don't have the answer to that, to be honest.
How do you do it in a way that's authentic? Do you want to be authentic in this scenario?
But you need to differentiate between being blunt about it and how you communicate that.
Yeah. So that's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can be bluntly authentic, or you can be softly authentic. Which one do you want? Do you want to be soft or blunt?
Probably soft. Just to protect yourself,
It's like, hello, Mrs. I'm sorry, but I sort of cheated on you. Rather than, I slept with her. I slept with the coworker, sorry. Which one is it? Which one do you want?
I'm not gonna answer that one though. But do you know what I mean though? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. All right. That's how you deliver the message.
Yeah.
Right, got it. Okay. So what do you think about the people who say everyone should be authentic? Do you think they mean what they say, or do you think they're just saying something that's popular?
That's a good point. I think there's a...
And I also think that it's impossible, right? Like, you're not going to know someone just through social media, if you get what I mean, right? Like, if you spend time with someone physically, privately, that's a much different experience than just watching someone through social media. And I guess for me, I feel like that's the lie of these influencers that do that they want to be as authentic as they can be on social media. But if you look at it objectively, that's impossible. Like, you're never going to really know someone unless you spend time with them. Personally spend time with them.
Because these influencers are marketers, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the question is, why would you believe them?
I guess people believe in them because they want to... All right, there's a few reasons. Number one reason is that virtue signaling, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say, I support this person. That means I share the same values, right? That's one. The second thing is that they, I guess, inspired by it.
Yeah.
I guess that's the more positive way of looking at it, where I see this person being authentic on social media and all that. That inspires me. I want to be the same way, or I'm going to try, I'm going to be more honest, I'm going to just tell people how it is, tell people how I feel, that's the positive side, right? But I think it's a balance. It really is a balance. I think, this is the thing. This is very tricky. I think there are things that are more important than being authentic, right? I think that's the disagreement I have with them. I don't think authenticity is this golden goose, right? This holy grail that everyone should have, right? Right? I don't think that's the case. I feel like...
I disagree with that.
So you think authenticity is important and you want to be authentic? It's more important than other things.
Yeah, you have to balance it though. Yes, it's good to be who you are.
Yes.
But also you need to project on how you communicate with people.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Some people might argue that you're not being authentic if you do that. You're like Tony Blair.
That's a good point.
You're not Jeremy Corbyn here. You're Tony Blair, right? You're trying to play two sides, right?
There's a bit of a Machiavellian going on in there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Machiavelli. We're not going to get into that. That's a deep conversation. That's for episode 225. It's fine. Okay, get into that. No.
Yeah. But then again, say like if you go to a networking event.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now the question is, how do you dress yourself?
Well, it depends on the environment, right? Yeah. Like if it's a bar, I'll dress up like just normal, casual, smart casual. If it's at a posh, not posh, right, gala dinner type thing, I'll have to wear a suit, right? If it's meeting up with complete strangers, people I haven't met before, right? There's no friends there. The venue's like a university, I'll dress smart. Depends on the venue, I guess. Or do you think people should dress up in hoodies and go to gala dinners? That's being authentic and say that this is what I dress every day. Why should I be any different?
Funny you should say that when it comes to that kind of environment. Yeah. Look, forget gala, say like a professional setting.
Right.
I've seen people wearing shorts with slippers coming in.
Okay. And what do you think when you see that?
I say that's pretty cool.
Oh, you think it's cool, but some people say, what is that?
Nah.
Why is this person dressed this way? It's so disrespectful. Right? That might be the case, isn't it?
It might be the case. Who knows? Depending on the age or depending on the seniority of people that are in there.
If they're well known, let's say, if they're well known in the industry.
Forget being well known. Just go there, regardless of who you are.
I mean, we're talking about how you're dressed here.
Yeah.
Right. Just go anywhere. Like I know everyone's like 80% of people here will be dressed up.
Slippers and shorts with t-shirts. That's it. That's all you need.
I mean, just put on a blazer at least. Come on. Put on a blazer. Is that too much trouble? Go to Primark. Get one for 30 quid.
I can picture Adam Sandler in that.
He's Adam Sandler. That's what I mean, though. It depends who you are. Like if Adam Sandler walked in, right? Nobody cares what he's dressed in.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Adam Sandler. It's Adam fucking Sandler. Like you want to talk to him. He's a cool guy. Like you've got a line waiting to take pictures with him.
So it's about building your own brand.
Okay, see, here's the thing, right? Once you have enough sway, right? You have enough personal branding.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter.
You reckon?
I think so. To an extent. Yeah. To an extent, that's the case, yeah. But obviously, like, in certain settings, like, it's more serious. Like, if you did that in Parliament, probably not going to get a lot of kind words.
I think when I was 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah.
I got invited by, those fancy law chambers in Holborn, like central London.
Yes.
So it was me and
the big columns and the marbling and the plaques.
So, for instance, me and one of my classmates were invited to go there.
Right. And at what age were you? Like,
I think I was 17. I was 17. I think it was back
high
in
school. Right.
2011. No, sixth form, college.
Okay.
2012 or 2011.
Okay.
Can't remember. Mm-hmm. I just went there with my jeans. No, not my jeans. Chinos. Chinos trainers with a hoodie. Okay.
All right.
My classmate. I saw my classmate, and she was wearing all professional attire.
Yep. Obviously, she was like, "Dude, you're going to a law firm here. You're going to chamber."
And I'm like, "Hold on a minute." So everyone's dressed how they should be dressed. Whereas me, I was a bit. I didn't really give a damn. Really,
you were underdressed.
Mate, I'm a kid. I was a kid. I was a kid back then.
All right.
Oh well, I was 17.
What happened? All right, you both of you walked in. She's all dressed up. You're not dressed up.
No,
what happened?
We didn't walk in together. I walked by myself.
Oh, was she there?
She was already there. Everyone was there, and they were just looking at me.
And what was the look on their face?
They were bewildered.
So what is he doing here? Who is this guy? Is this some random street kid just walking?
And I'm like, I'm just looking around. What's going on? And I just sat down, front row.
So there was a speaker, and you were like front row.
Yeah,
just like I'm here, just chilling.
And there was one moment where, so the presentation started.
Right.
In the middle of the presentation, I was just dozing off.
I was bored. Dude, you should have stopped right there, man. Why did you go and study law after that? You were like, I'm bored.
Well, I was doing A-level law at the time.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Right, you fell asleep.
Almost. I was just like, my eyes were shutting.
Oh my god. I feel so bad for the speaker. Can you imagine? You're there giving this presentation.
There was one lady just looking. She noticed. I think she was a barrister.
Oh god.
But she was smiling. She was laughing. I think, fuck it.
Was she in the audience or was she part of the presenters?
She was part of the presentation. I think she was sitting on one of the chairs.
Right. Right, see? If she was being authentic, she would have called you out on that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, look at the kid on the front row falling asleep. I was like, yeah, we're bored as well, mate. Just get through it. There's like 20 minutes left. It's fine.
It's one of those experiences.
All right. How would you have reacted if she called you out? It's like, guy on row 5, wake the fuck up.
Nah, she wouldn't say that. But if she did, I wouldn't. At that time, I was a bit, how teenagers were.
Yeah.
Didn't care.
Angst. Yeah. All right. Sort of ambivalent.
Yeah.
All right.
But brave, confident at the time as well.
I was like, I don't care, man. You can say whatever you want. It's not gonna affect me.
But it was one of those things, and
right. But it changed your opinion now? Like, you don't think that now? Or you still think that? Like, dude, just dress whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
You know what? As time goes by, I said, why did I do that? But looking back.
Right. So, like, everyone's there to take part in this thing, and you're just there ruining the party for everyone. Like, why don't you just...
Everyone was just dressed in, like, suits, ties.
Putting in effort.
Yeah, and I'm like... I had my chinos on, I had my trainers.
Right. Okay.
And then there was one point where they were doing a tour.
Right, of the building.
I had to get up, and I was just following everyone.
Okay.
Seeing, those fancy dining areas.
Right.
Meeting barristers, solicitors.
Yeah, meeting important people.
Yeah, asking questions.
Do you remember any of them? I don't think so.
No.
Just random people.
Right.
And they were very English, weren't they? Were they?
Yeah, they were very English.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, even if they weren't English, they probably put up an English accent just to fit in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be careful with those.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. All right. So that's interesting, right? Going back to authenticity.
Yeah.
So here, you were being authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
You were authentic because that's literally how you felt. It's just like you were a teenager. Like,
that was when I was 17 there. Fast forward, what? I'm 29 now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that. I would be wearing like casual, smart.
Right. But that's also authentic because that's how you feel now.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go. Right?
Yeah, but I am tempted to do the Adam Sandler shorts.
Once you have enough power, then go ahead.
Yeah, forget the power, just do it.
I mean, if you just want to do it now, it depends on the situation, I guess.
I know. Maybe I could put myself a challenge. Go to a founders event.
Yeah, it's just like shorts, Hawaiian shirt with a coconut and a sombrero. And then, what's up, guys? I just got back from Hawaii. They're like, do you have a pineapple? Can you give me a pineapple? You have a coconut there.
And you see those regular founders just looking at me.
It's like, who the heck is this guy? I mean, you'd get attention, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
You're trying to get attention. That'd be pretty good. It's like, I'm part of this touring company. Yeah, we get tours,
But it just tells you, the differences between, let's just say the legal industry.
Right.
That I aspired to go into.
Well, you aspired to go into, yeah.
And the startup ecosystem where the people are very welcoming and very inclusive.
Right. Yeah. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a stark contrast.
Yeah, I think the reason for that, part of the reason, is that if you are doing startups, first of all, you're very independent. So you don't really care what people say, right? You have to be that way or else you wouldn't be doing this, right? One. The second thing is that if you're going to be doing startups, you're going to be having some wild ideas, right? So you're going to be more open-minded, maybe, less prone to sort of have beliefs that you hold very closely and sort of, you're very conservative in that way, right? You're not open-minded to people who have different appearances, people have different opinions, right? People who even behave differently, right? Whereas if you're in a law setting, everyone's expected to behave a certain way, dress a certain way, speak a certain way, use language, right? A certain type of language. So I would say that's probably part of the reason why startups are the way they are, right? On the other end of things, right? If you go to, let's say, an artist, a get-together of artists, right? I would argue that they also have expectations. I feel like the expectation, if you go there, is like you're expected to be crazy. Well, I wouldn't say crazy, sorry, like a bit out there, right? Like wild clothing, colorful clothing, colored hair, right? The way you talk, the way you move, right? The things that you express. There's also an expectation there, isn't it?
Yeah.
even though it's art, like it's supposed to be do whatever you want. You can walk in with a hoodie, right? But I feel like there's that expectation. Like if you walk in a room of artists and they're all dressed up and you're not dressed up, you're just normal, you feel out of place, wouldn't you?
Which is really weird because when it comes to, say, art, culture,
yeah,
it relates to what? Inclusiveness?
Yeah. Part of it is being inclusive, yeah.
And being like open-minded,
Mm-hmm.
welcoming.
Yeah.
But it's the opposite in reality, isn't it?
It is.
Within the
At
art
least that's
industry.
the feeling you get. Yeah. I
But
don't know
why
if
is
it's
that
actually
though?
true. It's just a feeling.
But why though? If it's true.
I think it's just a human thing. It's just a human thing, right? Your brain does this calculation where you look at the area, you look at all the people there. If the majority is behaving a certain way and you don't fit in, your brain is like sort of giving you this feedback. So you're not fitting in here. Right? So it could be a human thing.
It's the same applies in the legal industry. I don't know how it is now.
Right.
Not sure, so I can't say anything about it now. Maybe it's still the same. Maybe it hasn't changed.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But
I mean,
yes.
that's correct. That's true.
You have to have a stiff upper lip when you speak, which is fucking crazy.
Stiff upper lip.
Hello, sir. How do you do? I don't know.
You can't do it anymore, mate. You're not a lawyer anymore. You
No.
quit. You can't do that anymore.
After completing masters in law, I said you're not fucking no more.
Right. Okay.
No more.
I mean, you've gone far enough, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So I would like to be authentic, but here's my argument. I would argue that the things that I put as more important than being authentic is number one, being respectful. I would always put being respectful higher than being authentic. That's me, though. Right?
In what environment, though?
In every environment.
In every environment.
Yeah.
Even politics.
Especially, even in politics. I mean,
You see there? You see there?
Is there an exception?
No, as in like from your body languages, you had a second thought.
All right, my second thought is that politics nowadays is very offensive.
Yeah.
Right? It's very heated. People say a lot of stuff, a lot of shit, right? Shit talking. They love shit talking, right? It's almost like a comedy battle now. It's like a rap battle. So I'm dissing you, you dissing me, just shouting match all over the place, right? But if it's more respectful, maybe we'll get more stuff done. So that's what's making me sort of think about it.
And that's what I like. And that's what I've found out within the startup ecosystem.
Right, okay.
People are very respectful.
There you go. But at the same time,
allowing you to be authentic, but in a respectable manner.
Right, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So I would argue that being respectful is the most important.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like you can't be inclusive if you're not respectful. That makes sense? Like if you're not behaving respectfully, then people tend not to tell you what they really think, right? So that's one thing that's more important than being authentic. The other thing that's more important than being authentic, in my opinion, is being... all right, this is a debate. I don't know, actually. I don't know if this is more important.
And what's that?
Honest.
Honesty.
What is the difference between being honest and being authentic? Because they're sort of related, aren't they? Right?
I think going back to the first point, the difference the differences between being blunt and how you say it.
You can be softly honest.
Yeah.
Or bluntly honest. Yeah. All right, let's play a game here. All right, I'm going to give you a scenario.
Yeah.
And then you tell me what's the blunt version and what's the soft version of doing this, all right? All right, let me think. All right, this is the first scenario. You're going home and you have to tell your mother that you've just been kicked out of school.
Okay.
Give me the soft version.
What?
How would you do it? Like, Ma,
Right. Ma?
Yeah?
How are you?
Doing good, just cooking dinner. How was school?
It was good.
Yeah, learn anything?
Yeah, I did.
What did you learn?
Learn how to be more respectful.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice. What else?
Well, I got a good news to tell you.
Oh, what is it?
I went to school, studied.
Okay, all right, that's nice, all right.
Yeah. But the bad news...
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me just drink, half a glass of wine first, right?
And this is me where I'm prepared.
Okay. You can tell me now what happened.
No, this is me basically. So I'm going to tell you, but before I tell you, prepare to leg it.
So your mum is there with a wine glass. It's like, tell me what's the bad news.
Ma, I got expelled.
It's like, you son of a bitch. What the fuck? What the fuck? Your dad and I, we worked so hard to get you in there. How could you do this to us?
Whereas bluntly,
what's the blunt way?
You just go in and just tell her I got expelled. That's it. Mom, I got fucked up.
So wait till your father hears about this. And then you say, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Slam the door.
Like, go upstairs, slam the door.
All right. See, that's a good one. See, that's good, right?
Yeah.
Right. The reaction might be a bit bad in the beginning, but then they'd say, you know what? This is not terrible. You didn't kill anyone. You didn't stab someone to death, right? You didn't get stabbed, right? You're not going to jail, at least, right? You just got kicked out.
Who knows?
All right. So that's one scenario. Okay. So here's a very important thing. So obviously you and I agree on this. Like, we would much prefer, it doesn't matter if you're being authentic, respectful, or honest, the way you communicate.
Absolutely. The way you communicate, especially your tongue controls what comes out of your mouth.
Right. You don't want to be fork-tongued.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
You could be mild-mannered.
Yeah, you can be. Yeah. I mean, you're less threatening that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there will be a point where you'll feel the frustration of just letting it out.
Yeah. Obviously.
So you just need to find.
Saint.
Yeah. So you just need to find the thin line between being authentic, being honest.
Right. Okay.
And being respectful.
There you go. I mean, this is a pretty good conclusion here. After our discussion, I think this is a good conclusion. So if you're going to tell your wife you cheated on her, if you're going to tell your mother that you just got kicked out of school, all right, or you're going to tell your partner that you have HIV, right? Be respectful, authentic, and honest, and be careful what you say, right? Try to be gentle with them, all right? And the outcome would be much better than if you said it outright, legged it, and then slammed the door shut, all right? All right, so that's going to be the conclusion to our podcast today, all right? So come back, all right, to episode 2 of Feng's Caravan next time. And this podcast is going to be posted in multiple places. I mean, it's going to be in the links, all right? I'm just going to put it in the links. It'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts now. So I'll try to post it everywhere I can. And hopefully, you had fun with us today with me and Arif here. So, Arif, any final words before we end this episode?
How about recording this on a local 90s cassette?
What do you mean? What are you talking about? 90s cassette? What is this?
I don't know. Not send out cassettes to the older generation.
Oh my god. My god. That's what you're talking about. No, we're not going to do that. All right, listeners, if you want
really
this... All right. Listeners, if there's 80-year-old listeners here, and they want this recorded on a cassette tape, VHS, right? Let me know, all right? And I'll get it done for you.
Bring back the 90s.
Bring back the 90s.
Or was it the 80s? I don't know.
The 90s. Yeah, cassette was 90s. No, 90s was CDs, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, cassette was 80s. Yeah, you're right. We're old now. Right, anyway, all right, this is the end of the podcast, right? I'll talk to you later, Arif, and come back for the next one, all right?
Thank you for having me.